What is up, you amazing, beautiful people? I hope you're doing well wherever you're at, whatever time of day or night you doing to watching this video, because in today's video, I will be reviewing the Tier 8 Pan-European Heavy Tank, the MO1. So without further ado, let's dive right into the stats of this vehicle. Right away, for the survivability of this tank, you have 1,855 hit points, which is not too bad for a Tier 8 heavy tank. It is definitely workable and manageable. For the main armor, we will go over it more in Armor Inspector, but I'll go ahead and list it off real quick, and I think it's pretty decent in my personal opinion. The front of the turret is 180, for the sides it is going to be 70, and for the rear of the turret 50. For the front of the hull, 125. For the sides of the hull, it will be 80, and for the rear of the hull, it will be 50 as well. When the engine is hit, it has 20% chance of catching fire, which is rather on the high side, which is kind of a disadvantage if your engine is hit. For the view range, it is 282. In my personal opinion, that is very good for a Tier 8 tank, and you can definitely boost it through equipment so you can spot enemy tanks more for your team. In my personal opinion, I feel like this tank is more team reliant, and you will see that throughout the stats as we continue on. For the concealment, it is not that great in my opinion. You basically don't really have any concealment. You have a little bit, and that is workable enough. And you have 2,041 damage per minute, which is very good in my opinion for a auto reloader, that is. For the magazine reload time, it is 22.22 seconds, which is kind of on the longer side. So this is what I was talking about earlier, when this tank might have to be more team reliant, because after you fire off those 3 shots, you have those 22 seconds of when an enemy could just pull out, delete you, or just rush you and just annihilate you from the entire game. So you will have to pull back into hardcover and make sure no enemy is going to be rushing you, or at least have your team nearby you to assist you. And for the shell reload time, it will be 3 seconds. So you have 3 shells in the magazine. You fire one, it will take 3 seconds before you can get the next one in, and the same for the last shell. For the average penetration on this tank, for the AP, it is 228, for the APCR 254, and for high explosive 58, which is not too bad for Tier 8 heavy tank. For the average damage, for the AP is 320, for APCR 270, and for high explosive 400. That is very good. And for the AP alone, even if you just hit 320, that will be over 900 damage, close to the 1,000 range, and it all depends on if you high roll or low roll with those tanks. With those shells, I mean, because if you high roll with them, you could get well over that 1,000 damage mark in just those 3 shots. And the aiming time is 4.1 seconds, which is not too good in my opinion. It's on the longer side, and you can definitely lower that through the equipment provisions and all that. That's exactly what I did, so I'll show you that later in this review. And the dispersion is not so bad that I had to go ahead and fix it. It's definitely workable in my opinion. For the gun turn limit, up for the gun elevation, it is 15, for gun depression 10, so you can definitely use this tank on ridgelines and hills and use that to your advantage, just getting shots into the enemy team and they cannot pin you at all. And for the maneuverability, the top speed going forward is 35, in reverse 20, and average speed 28, which is not too bad. The turret turn rate and hull turn rate are decent for a heavy tank, not on the good side though. It's on borderline bad, but decent in my opinion, if that makes any sense, because the turret turn rate is 24.30 and hull turn rate is 28.56, and terrain crossing capacity for the road 92, for the ground 85, and for water 58. So this is not like AMX 5100, I believe that's what it is called, the Tier 8 French heavy tank. It's not that fast, it's not that mobile, but it's definitely not slow at all. It's like just the average speed for any Tier 8 heavy tank, and it can definitely get to places pretty quickly in the battles, as you will see. And for the equipment I use, I just run calibrated shells to get that penetration up more, so I can just more reliably pen tanks. I chose defense systems just so everything could take more of a hit while I'm in the battle. And I chose improved optics instead of the camo net, because your camo is already not that good. So I will boost the improved optics just so I can spot those enemy tanks before they even spot me, and I can engage them before they even could engage me, if that made any sense. And also for my TDs or team in the back trying to support me, I could spot them and they could just rain the shells on top of the enemy. I chose enhanced gun laying drive just to bring that aiming time down to improve it more, because it is 4.1 seconds, which in my opinion, again, it is quite a long time, and you can't really snap shots off. So I put that in there just for the aiming time, be able to snap shots off sooner and not have to wait out in the open as long. And I don't really feel like supercharged is that needed on this tank. For these two, It is honestly up to you guys. You could go either way in this tank, the plus 4% for hull and turret armor, or for the hit points. I personally went for the hit points in this tank, and I might change that up to the enhanced armor later on. And next, I chose engine accelerator just to boost a little bit of everything in the mobility category instead of the improved control, but you guys could definitely play around with that since the hull turn rate is not exactly the best on this tank. For this one, I also chose vertical stabilizer, just like the one above it, just to decrease that aiming time as much as possible, as I feel like dispersion is not really that needed on this tank, as the tank already has pretty decent dispersion. These last two is up to you guys. I just run toolbox, so if I run out of repair kits and I'm stuck out in the open and my track is damaged or my engine is damaged, it could repair itself 30% quicker, and I don't have to sit there as long. And I chose high in consumables so I could get to places quicker and it could just last longer throughout the battle. For the ammunition, I use 66 AP, 9 APCR, and 15 HE. I wouldn't really mess with this loadout too much, if at all. Yeah, I think this loadout is just perfect for me. And for the provisions, I chose the grilled salmon and the crispy bread just to improve a little bit of everything from view range, damage per minute, reload time, to even the turn rate, hull turn rate, and terrain crossing capacity. Just boost a little bit of everything in both of these. The crispy bread adds 3% and the grilled salmon adds 10% to everything. And I did the same thing for the improved fuel. It's just in the mobility category though, and it boosts 10% to engine power and 10% to turret turn rate, which is always a good thing. For consumables, I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I was grinding this tank, trying to get to the ML2 as fast as possible, I did not even look at the consumables. I just left what was their default, and it was the just normal multi-purpose restoration pack, engine power boost, and the repair kit. I did not realize there was the improved engine power boost and the reticle calibration. Did not realize these two were here. So if I were to go back and put these on the tank, I would do the multi-purpose restoration kit because that's pretty self-explanatory. The improved engine power boost, because it's just the engine power boost, just a lot better, and it costs a little bit more. If you guys are low on the credits, I would not use that and switch out to the engine power boost. But if you have credits to use the improved engine power boost. And then for this one, for the engine power boost, I know I've been saying that a lot. Just bear with me for a little bit. I would put on this one, but the reticle calibration is definitely considerable in this tank, considering the aiming time is not that good, and it does minus 4% to the aiming time and gun dispersion, so it basically makes this tank more of a laser beam. So you guys could go either way, run double engine power boost, or just run the improved engine power boost and run the reticle calibration. Just up to you guys on that one. And that will do it for this part of the review. I'm going to hop on Armor Inspector, show you guys the armor of this tank, and show you how the hull down position looks and if any enemy tanks could possibly pin you. Right away, you guys could see that the turret is red and orange, and that is pretty good. Right here, these cheeks areas are 275 to 252, just at the angle we are looking at it. And for the inner cheeks, that's what I'm going to call them, are 242, and the top of the turret is 210, the very top 232, and then this gun mantlet 273, and then the gun 283. So the turret is pretty well armored, all over 200 millimeters. Obviously, if you face tier 9s and they load premium, and I think some with standard rounds could possibly pin your cheeks. I don't know about the inner area. I'm not sure many people will be able to pin that unless they load premium ammunition. And the upper plate is 249. People are definitely going to struggle pinning that. They might have to load a premium as well to pin that upper plate. Lower plate, however, almost everyone will be able to pin. For the sides of the tank, for the hull, 80. For this upper part, 71. For this part right here, 74. And this part, 176. So there's a chance that at the right angle, they could bounce this first part of the turret, but every other part of the side is going to be pinnable. For the back, it is 50 for the hull and 50 for that turret part, 89 for that turret part, and what about this upper part of the hull? 74. So most of the back of your tank can be HE'd by pretty much everybody, I believe. Well, not everybody, at least most tanks can HE the back of your tank. They will definitely have trouble trying to HE this part, but many of them will not be able to aiming at the area. This side is pretty much the same as the other side. Almost everyone will be able to pin it and possibly have a chance to bounce this first part of the turret if you're at the right angle. Now, if you are behind a hill or ridge line, I'm going to throw up the black screen right now, as we do with all the tanks that you could go hold down in. And say we are the enemy looking at you, and the MO1 is you looking at the enemy. Looking at the upper plate, it is 438. Nobody's going to be able to pin that at all. At least no one that I know of will be able to pin that upper plate. This first part of the turret right here, the outer cheeks, I'm going to call them 270. Right here, 299, and this is just the angle we're looking at. If you go down a little bit more, let's click that. 249, 299 still. Let's go 328. Yeah, most people will not be able to pin your turret at all, as it's almost in the 300 range. They'll definitely have to load right there, 319. So it can definitely get over the 300 range, almost in the 400s, like the upper hall, and the upper hall is at 530 right now. So yeah, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to pin you when you are in a haul down position at all. Maybe this little cupola thing, but even then they'll still have to most likely load premium ammunition or get really lucky with their aim. Yeah, so basically in a haul down position, this tank is not pinnable unless the enemy uses premium. Now, how would I play this tank? It can kind of be used as a heavium, but I wouldn't really use that as the main role for this tank. That's more of a side role. If you really have to be a heavium, or most of your team is pushing that way, or you feel like you should go that way to support them, say you only have 3 medium tanks and the enemy has 4, you could go push over and help them out. The main purpose of this tank, and how I personally would play it after the nerf and update and all that stuff, is go the heavy way. Find a haul down position where you could definitely take this gun to the advantage, and make sure you're with your teammates, because without your teammates, this tank can just easily get deleted from the game. So haul down position, and if you can, use a hill or ridge line so you can get that, so you can angle that armor like this upper plate, 389. Not many people will be able to pin you at all in a haul down position, and unload the clip into your enemy and back up and cover. And also, peek-a-boom is a very effective strategy in this tank. You can peek out, unload your 3 shots, get close to 900 or 1,000 damage depending on high rolls or low rolls, and back up into cover while only taking a hit or 2 in return. So you will definitely have the advantage there in peek-a-booms, and make sure your team is nearby, so if the enemy tries to rush you, they will just get lit up and deleted by your TDs or your fellow heavy tanks. And that is how I would play this heavy tank. So without further ado, let's dive into the 3 replays that I have for you. In this first replay, I feel like it really shows off the mobility in a way. How to position and play this tank is the main focus of this replay though, because it really shows that effectively in my personal opinion. So right away, I do start pushing over to base B, because I just figure that's probably the best spot, and also I don't think anybody on the enemy team would be rushing that way, so I could just cap it out and get a lead on base capture and base capture points. And there's the P44, he is spotted. Also, I kind of shows off the spotting range with these 2 mediums being spotted right off the bat. Get a shot into that P44 and get in cover so I can finish capping out this base. However, I do pull back, seeing if I get a shot. P44 comes back for more, get another shot into him, and he misses his. I am able to cap out base speed, trying to pull out, but he makes it back into cover before I can finish off this magazine that I have. Sorry, I have no idea what that was. I was going to go after T54, however, I see the waffle, so I load HE, get a shot into him, and I back up into cover, because I know my team is over on my left-hand side and behind me, so they won't really push out unless they want to get deleted from the game. And also, I have this very long reload to wait for. And at first, I was going to push over here super aggressively and flank the enemy team, since I'm pretty much almost done with the reload. However, no enemy tanks are pushing out, and I figure it's a better idea if I reposition over to base B and hold that position, because I could go haul down there to hold off the enemy and make this tank very effective in this battle. So I push up over to this right-hand side of base B, and I focus that T34, and I'm going to unload my entire clip into him. You saw he was at full health, and I'm going to get all 3 shots into him. Just watch, and it does about 900, if not over, close to 1,000 damage in just that one clip alone. It brought him just about halfway through his health or hit point pull, whatever you want to call it. So this magazine potential is very good. And the T-34 comes back out in the open. I'm almost done on the reload. There we go. We are fully reloaded. We get a bounce from the T-34. Get one shot into him before he gets back into cover. And I pull up, get a very nice high roll into that VK. And I push up a little bit too far. Try to get that T-34 since he was a one shot. But I focus the ISA, track him in place so my team could start getting shots into him while I back up for my full reload. However, I do end up getting a hit from him. And I am close to being reloaded, so I decided to push up on this VK super aggressively. And I figure I could out-reload him as he just shot. And I'm almost done with the reload, however my team ends up taking him out of the game. So I push up, and I'm going to focus this IS-8 since he's a definite one-shot for me. And then the Multiple Tractor is all that's left, so I switch to HE. However, he's not going to be able to pull out in time, so I switch back to AP, shoot him in the tracks, and my team ends up taking him out for the win. And for this battle, we get the first class, 3,489 damage. Decent credits for Tech Tree Tank and 1 tank destroyed. I believe we're on top of the leaderboard for that battle, but I feel like that battle really demonstrated how to effectively play this tank and position it like in that hold down position at base B. You saw the amount of bounces we got, and also it showed off the magazine potential, like on that T-34, how he went from full health down to half, if not a little bit less than half health in just 3 shots. And in this next battle that I have for you guys, I feel like it is really going to demonstrate the mobility of this tank, how fast it could get to bases, capture it out, or even just positions in general. The magazine potential, again, as we get 3 shots into enemy tanks, you will see just the amount of over 900, close to 1,000 damage that I will get in those 3 shots. And also the armor on this tank, how decent and pretty good it is. So right away, I rush over to base D with my heavy tanks, start capping it out, and as soon as we cap it out, I start pushing over, and I was thinking about rushing into base B and start capping that out, but the enemy team is starting to cap out base C, so I'm keeping my eye over there. And also the EXP is spotted at base B, and he starts capping it out, so I want to reset that base capture as soon as possible. There we go, we get a shot into the side of his turret. I come back out for more. He gets a shot into me, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to get 2 more shots into you before you could even reload. But I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to find a shot to pin. So I decide back up to cover until he repositions to the K91, and I pull back out and get 2 more shots into him. And the K91 is just laying shots into him, and he's going to be able to take him out of the game. So just the K91 and me alone, just 6 shots, ended up taking out that EXP, no problem. And we are going to cap out base B. And the enemy team is making a huge mistake right now because there's only like 3 of our tanks over there versus pretty much the entire enemy team, and they're not being aggressive in pushing them. And if they did, they would be able to flank us and just easily delete us from the game. However, because they did not do that, they lost the battle, and we got a shot into that T-44, and it looks like this replay was a little bit buggy when I was recording it. Sorry about that, but for the most part, it is watchable in my personal opinion. And we get back into base C and start capping it out. And obviously we are going to be able to cap it out. I'm just tracking that T-44, seeing if I can get another shot into him. However, I am still on a reload, and he's coming out in the open. Will I be able to be reloaded in time? It does not look like I will be able to. Maybe. No, the K91 beats me to it, taking him out of the game. And now, since we dealt with all the tanks on this side of the map and capped out all 3 bases, we are going to go ahead and push over on the enemy team. First off, with this T-69, I track him in place with the first shot, track him in place with the second shot, and pretty much lower him down to a 1 shot with the assistance of that T-49 Hornet. And again, the magazine potential, I think that I did over 1,000 damage with that magazine as he was at full HP, and that T-49 did get a shot in. However, he just got wrecked and absolutely deleted from the game. And there's the Vickers CR. He is just going to start running away, so I'm not really going to focus him too much. I'm just keeping an eye and seeing if he would turn back around and I could get shots into him. T-49 gets a shot into him, and I pull up. Is he going to run away? No, he's actually going to come out, and I get a nice 400 high roll. Ram him a little bit, track him in place, and then I'm going to be able to finish him off with this clip. I honestly thought he was going to run away, but he decided to turn back around and face us for some reason, even though he just got deleted from the game, and he just said reported. I have no idea why he wants to report us, but it's probably because he did not go ahead and run away from us and reposition, and he just got deleted from the game because of me. and all that's left is the enemy K91, and I am fully reloaded, so I'm going to be able to easily clip him out and delete him from the game. First shot, second shot, and I'm going to delete him. No, actually get the third shot, and he's definitely one shot. Hopefully I could get some help from my team, and the EXP comes over and saves me just in time. I'm not sure if he was about to be reloaded or not, and we win that battle. Obviously we get this first class, 4,226 damage, okay credits, and 1 tick destroyed, and we're going to be on top of the leaderboard for that battle. But again, I feel like that battle really demonstrated the armor of this tank, the mobility, yet again, as we were able to quickly reposition, capture all 3 bases, and deal with the enemy team, along with the magazine potential, those 3 shots doing up to 900 or over 1,000 damage. And in this next battle is going to be the mastery game and the OP replay for this tank, as we do 6.9k damage, and I think we get 5 tanks destroyed. I think it's 5 tanks destroyed, but I'm definitely sure it is 6.9k damage that we get in this tank. And this battle is really going to show off the armor on this tank and some troll bounces. I know it was probably a good amount of luck on my side as well, but also positioning and how I reacted to the situation did definitely help out a good amount. So without further ado, let's get into this battle breakdown. And we started pushing over the right hand side of the map over to base scene. Along the way, the P44 was available, so we got a shot off, and we decided to go for the full reload since I already took a shot and I would only have 2 more shots left. So I'd go ahead and do a full reload just in case I end up running into any enemy tanks pushing over to base C as well. But I am really determined to get into base C and cap it out so we get a base advantage and point advantage in this battle before the enemy could capture any other tanks, because nobody has gone over to base A yet. And there's the P44. We are able to get another shot into him. However, he does back up into cover, and I'm keeping my eyes over on base B, seeing if I can get any shots. However, it does not really look like any are available right now, so I decided to push up as soon as I am done capping out base C. And instead of going all the way around and flanking around the enemy, I decided to cut through and head directly towards base B, and P44 is a one shot. I aim in, good shot into him, and he's a definite one shot for me now. I guess I low rolled a little bit, or it might have been a high shot one shot if I had rolled. I decided to go for that full reload and start pushing up. And if you look at the minimap, my entire team is pretty much still in spawn, and they did not move at all. And that was making me a little bit frustrated, because now I know I have to up my ante, up my game, and get to a good position so I light up the enemy as they are focusing my teammates. And speaking of that, there's the IS-3. I'm able to get a nice high roll, 400 shot into him, get another shot into him, and maybe one more. Yes, we are going to be able to get one more shot into him. And he was at full HP. He has 1,908 hit points. I unloaded those 3 clips, and he's now at 885 hit points. So I definitely did over 1,000 damage with that magazine. And there's the Cheeto SPG. I decided to pull back, but I think my turret has enough armor, and besides, he also hits the tracks. I'm almost done with my reload, so maybe I'll get a shot off. No, he backs up at cover before I get a shot off. But there's that P44 again. Take a shot, but as soon as I do, my teammates end up taking him out. So I focus that IS-3 again, get one more shot into him, possibly another one. Yes, one more shot, and he is a definite one shot for me now. And I push out into the open, and this was a pretty big mistake, and I realized that. So instead of pushing all the way out, I was thinking about pulling back into cover, but I was like, I'm almost done with the reload, and we are almost going to lose this battle, as it's a 3v6 right now. So I got to rush in there. Use this tank's good armor, as demonstrated right there, as I blocked that Tiger 2. And I'm going to focus him. He makes a big mistake by showing me his side, and I am fully reloaded. Get one shot into him, get a second shot into him, and I am going to be able to clip him out of the game. Got one of the biggest threats out of the game, the Tiger 2. And the LTTB comes around. He's not too big of a threat for me, and luckily it's only him when I'm on the reload, because I'm easily going to be able to bounce his shots by just side scraping a little bit, as I've already blocked 2. But there's the SPG. He pulls up, and I'm like, oh no, this is pretty bad, because I think the SPG has a pretty decent gun. And I end up running into that pillar. However, he misses his shot, and I'm going to be able to clip him from full health, 1,050 health in just 3 shots. 1, 2, 3. He is taken out of the game, and I got another bounce from him. As I told you guys, this battle is really going to demonstrate the armor on this tank, as I've just been getting bounces from that LTTB the entire time he has been shooting me. Got a bounce from that SPG, and I think got a bounce from that Tiger 2 as well. I'm just waiting for the reload, and one of my teammates is going to be super annoying, telling me what to do even though I already know what to do. He tells me, "Emil, get that LTTB," and I was like, "I'm on a reload. What do you want me to do? Just rush out there and waste my hit points?" But I do go out there, clip out that LTTB in 2 shells, and I got one more. However, I had to stop and tell him I know what I'm doing. I was just on reload, dude, and I missed the opportunity to get a shot into that Tiger 1. So I decided to push up, and the same guy is going to tell me to reload, and I already knew to do that. I was just seeing if I could get one more shot right here into the Tiger 1. However, I cannot, so I'm going to go for the reload literally as soon as he said that. Like, I already know what to do. He's just making things worse by just telling me all this stuff that I already know what to do. He's just making it really frustrating. I know he's trying to be helpful, but it's not really being that helpful at all. But I'm pushing up on that Tiger 1. Tiger 2 is getting a shot into him, and I'm going to push up behind him. Maybe I could get one more shot into him. Maybe even take him out of the game. Yes, we do. We take out that Tiger 1, and he's deleted from the game. So it's just me and my Tiger 2 left, and I decided to get into base A and start capping it out. However, there's one more enemy tank, the KV3, and I have not seen him the entire battle. And the enemy Tiger 2 says the base. Now I'm assuming that means like the spawn base. So as soon as I'm done capping out base A, I start pushing my way over there, keeping an eye on that Tiger 2, seeing if he's going to go over to base B and see if they are lying to us and if the KV3 will pop up out of nowhere. He is going to push over to base B, start capping it out, and I'm going to make my way to the spawn, see if they are telling the truth or not. And there's the KV3 right there. So I'm going to stop, aim in, get a shot or two into him. No, I'm going to dump the entire clip into him. 1, he was at full health. That's 1 shot. That's 2 shots. 1 more shot. See how much more damage I got to do? There we go. He went from 1,600 HP down to 598. So over 1,000 damage done. Again, this clip is really amazing and I love it. And I start pushing in because the Tiger 2 is moving in on us and I'm almost reloaded. I think he let me have the damage, but at the time I was like, please don't steal this from me. I need this. And there we go. We are reloaded 1 and 2, and he's deleted from the game, and we get the win. Shout out to that Tiger 2 for letting me finish off that KV3 and getting that much more damage in, because I got 6,921 damage, the mastery, decent amount of credits, and 5 tanks destroyed. So a OP replay in my opinion, and obviously we are going to be on top of the battle for this leaderboard. But the question is this tank even worth the grind? Should you keep it in the garage or should you sell it? In my personal opinion, even after the nerf, I think this tank is pretty good. So it is definitely worth the grind in my opinion, and worth keeping in your garage as long as you have a garage slot or you have a good amount of credits. Because if you're low on credits, obviously go ahead and sell it, and you can come back and buy it later once you're done grinding the entire line. But if you found this video useful or helpful in any kind of way, go ahead and smash the like button, leave a comment on your favorite part of the video or anything general down in the comment section below, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you're always notified when I upload a new video. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.
How does it